Right, welcome members to the meeting of the Community Committee on Tuesday the 20th of January 2026. To receive any apologies for absence.
Yeah, we've got Councillor Alan Coyley and Councillor Tony Mortimer. I think Councillor Rhodes is on her way, so we won't mark her down.
Okay,
apologies.
Thank you. Okay. Note, any declarations of members' interest? Councillor Wang.
It's one of the applicants for the grant that I am not acutely interested in for a family.
So that is the Musical Society one, yeah.
Okay. So we have the minutes of the last meeting, which was on the 7th of October. Are we happy to receive those minutes as a correct record? Those in favour?
Okay, you won't mind signing those right up there. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Okay. Item 4, public participation. Period of not exceeding 50 minutes for members of the public to ask questions and submit comments that relate to items on the agenda. Are there any members of the public who wish to?
No, nothing.
There are no members. Moving on to item 5. To review the year-to-date financial position for the Community Committee. I call upon the Committee Clerk.
Okay, so some of these is page 5, and if you have agenda item 5, page 5, I have no concerns about this. This doesn't reflect exactly where we're up to. Some of the stuff has been put in different budgets. This is an accounting thing that happens. You'll notice that the earmark reserve for All About People has been put into, I think it's the community development, so it looks as if we've gone over. We haven't. There's no overspend. We are within budget on every area, so I have no concerns about that.
Any questions, members? So, we're happy to note.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Moving on then to item 6. Consider matters related to grant applications received from.
Okay. So I'll just start here. So just to draw attention, please, to members that we have a £30,000 grant allocation. We have currently spent £21,246.92. Obviously, we have applications here 6,560. So we've got one more meeting left for the year. Obviously, we do have other areas we could fund stuff if we were to go over next month on the grants. I just wanted to flag that with you. And I'll hand over to Katie. Katie is now going to be looking after all the grant applications. Have you all met Katie? Katie is our new community officer and community officer committee.
Well, in the usual routine, a small panel met and we reviewed the applications against the criteria. We sought any information that might be or have been omitted, so hopefully that's all now present, and we've put the notes of each within your packs, so hopefully that ends the discussion and there aren't any further questions. What if there are, please ask them.
Okay, so I think I'll lead on to the first one.
Yeah. If you don't, I'll kick up the Crewe Photography Society application. You know, on Facebook, you know, quite happy to support, and they are very supportive of not just Crewe Town Council but many other events and organisations throughout it. So, but what have concerns is regarding the projector, the cost of the projector, and also the use of it and the time limit of this sort of technology. So I'd like to propose that we fund the laptop in its entirety but defer the projector to find out more information from them regarding the use of it and the venues that it be used in and why frequency of using, because as Jackie's pointed out, we're coming to the end of our grants part and it's a lot of money to spend out on something which might only have a year's life, you know, in it. So, and they have got one which is in working order at the moment. So that's my 2 pennies. Does anybody else wants to come in?
I just want to say that I'm supportive of them in general,
because I believe they're a huge asset to the town. They not only help us with their the volunteer photographer, but the whole club actually takes and publishes photographs of an awful lot of stuff that goes on in the town. And they're part of building our historical record. So I just want to say, I think they're a huge asset.
Councillor Rose.
I've got no argument with the benefits that they bring to town council and the fact that they're building a record of what's happening in Crewe. But we've got to view this like any other application. And I would support Councillor Clark in saying that we don't know enough about the projection, how it's going to be used. And if I was a member of public opinion, I'd be thinking, well, they're like, that's broken down and we need a new one, so they're just asking the town council. But I recognise their work, and I think that we give a grant for the laptop, but we look at other ways in which we can support them, rather than maybe a donation to the society, but that's not just relying on them buying equipment. I think we've got to be careful about public perception of the way we're giving out grants.
Councillor Basie.
And my same question. If we funded the laptop, are we sure the laptop is not supposed to be used alongside the projector? So that would be redundant, because if they needed the projector as well as the laptop,
I think
only
the laptop is used for their maintenance of the storage of
they
the
send everything via
everything's digital, so they send everything to all organisations via a laptop, via links. They use a Photoshop to actually to create some of their photos and how they use them, etc., for calendars and for cards and etc. So the laptop isn't just, it's for the day-to-day work, contacting members and creating they use Facebook and things, so it's all creating all that social. So I see that it's valid, and also that's why I'm raising the issue of a projector, because now with a higher speed laptop you would link it up to a smart TV. Lots of halls and venues that they will use will have that sort of technology where you just put the lead from the laptop into the TV, and that's where you can project in their their photographs and doing their talks, etc. So that's a reason to put, so I do see the value in that. They need that, a high speed laptop. Being in that same position myself, that I need to upgrade my laptop because I'm on Windows 10.
Councillor Edwards
and Councillor, as they saying, Francis. Councillor Edwards.
Yeah, I also think we also tend to fund something tangible, such as an event, such as an improvement to the services. The other two applications this evening are about a course or an event, and I think also I don't know how many people are current members of the society. How many people will benefit from this grant as well? So I agree with what you've mentioned and what Councillor Rhodes has said.
When you consider the amount of organisations that they're photographing for within Crewe, I mean, gosh, if we had to pay a photographer, it would be thousands. But they don't just photograph for us; they photograph for the whole of Crewe.
And I know, and I'm sure Sally will say the same, and Dennis, the number of events that they were at, which are Merrill, and then those organisations who were there as well said, "Well, can you send me a set of photographs? Can you send me some, some photographs as well?" So, and that's why they need the digital. Dennis.
They've also
very long time.
They've also been over 10 years supporting the mayors of this town. It's in 2015.
So
Peter was around. But
right. So
are you making that proposition?
I am making
In
that
proposition. I'd like to second it.
Right. Okay. So what we're proposing.
The proposal.
Yes.
Please.
The proposal is that we fund on this occasion directly tonight the full cost of the laptop,
£850,
and then we'll have a conversation with them about the projector and the use of it, etc. So we can be clear where the funding is being used and whether it's productive enough to be used. Thank you. So all those in favour?
Okay,
That's unanimous. Thank you, members.
partial
So,
8.
okay, so the second grant that's come in, do you want?
The only additional was, oh no,
Through amateur musical.
yeah, no,
society.
there's no additional info on this. We've got the notes of the small panel, with regards to this. I think they have applied before.
They have. They have applied before. It was granted before. They delivered a really good event. They're a great organisation. However, I don't really think it's what our grant scheme is about. I think it may set a precedent for other groups that do similar things. I'm not saying we should decline it, but I'm a bit worried that the floodgates may open. Because if they're going to apply every other year, because this is what they've done, is it the right thing? But they are a great group.
Yeah, I acknowledge that as well. And the same, my concern that I raised was that we were actually paying for a member of staffing costs, which we don't fund anyway. It's not within our grant scheme criteria. And also, again, if we're funding one musical event or drama group at the theatre, then it opens for all of other groups. And in the past, I think we've refused this gang show and scout etc. So managed to decline. So any members want to comment?
On the copy I've got, it says that it's been used for technical equipment.
Yeah, but it also says under technical equipment, it also says and hire and technical persons costs. Microphone hire and technical persons costs.
So we're
For the
not clear.
so it's
we're
for
not
the
clear.
management of the microphones during the show. So management of that is a person managing that during
There's
the
an
show.
invoice somewhere that breaks down.
Can I
Yeah.
just remind members that last year the year before last, we went through the same discussion, and what we actually did was we went back to them and said, we'll fund the costumes and the wigs, but we won't fund the things that you're asking for. So that may be an option. The costumes and the wigs are £1,700.
Yeah, I feel we ought to support them in some way. Oh yeah, I was just going to say, what did they do with the 42k ticket income?
Say again, sorry, Irene, I missed that.
Because here it did say they had 42,000.
It
Yeah.
goes towards the cost
From
of
the
running the show.
Yeah.
So we
And-
had something.
Well, the overall cost of the activity is £49,529.89, and ticket sales will only bring in £42.
Yeah. But they have a lot of, so there's indirect beneficiaries, obviously the people that view the show, they have volunteers that deliver the show, they're learning. But yeah, last year we went back and said costumes and wigs.
Last year or the year before.
The year before, sorry, Jill.
The publicity, the leaflet, posters,
Potentially, yeah.
that's the 500.
Leaflet and poster printing costs to raise awareness. Yeah, Amy
Yeah.
could look at costume and wig hire and
Well,
potentially that.
I wasn't.
If you, I don't know,
yeah,
whatever you
use them from last time.
It's a different profession.
Yeah. If we're doing leaflets, so Councillor Rowe.
I suggest we say we'll give them £1,000 towards the wigs and costumes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
How
I've
much?
got £1,000 towards the wigs and costumes.
Yeah. I'm happy with that.
That's
Councillor
what
White.
we're asking for.
This is one I declare an pecuniary interest about. I just make a general comment about all of the many fantastic amateur dramatic places. They keep the Lyceum going. It's a major part of their activity going on. They train up people into a new cultural skill. We're going for the town of culture bit, and I think that would be a big part of it. So it's like the photographic society as well. There's a lot of the work they can do. They're training up local people to do something else. So I just make you think about that town of culture bit, all these things to do with it. So I can't vote on this, but I would say the same thing for all of the applicants and other future ones. We probably should.
Right, so we have a proposal is that we contribute £1,000 towards a costume and wig hire. Is that seconded?
I support that.
So, all those in favour?
So partially approved, £1,000 contribution.
All those against? Any abstentions? 2 abstentions.
Who's the other abstention? Sorry, who was?
Councillor
Right.
Graham, Councillor Wang.
Okay. So what's the next massive all this information, isn't it? There's loads of info. Digital arts.
While you're all finding your
Page
page,
56.
the additional information we sought while we were reviewing this was that we wanted evidence of the match funding from Macclesfield Town Council and the larger grant that they said they had. And we do have both of those here tonight if you want to have them. They have provided the evidence of match
Page
funding.
56, people, if you're looking.
This is one which has been deferred before and back to us for assessment. I think we've previously asked to ensure that the funding that goes, because they're working in Macclesfield as well, that the funding of the kits, the 40 kits, goes to CW1 recipients. They've given us that assurance, haven't they, that that's how it will be monitored. I do have a proposal that we actually just fund them by £2,000, which is match funding to what Mac Town Council. That equates to, so they're 40 kits to 32 kits. Anybody want any comments? Councillor Rowe?
Can't find anything, but it says something about we're going to work through the library.
Yes.
Well, I think when we've done the analysis of who uses the library, it's not necessarily the people who actually live within the boundary of Crewe.
No, but we have made it quite specific to them that the people that they give the kits out to, they have got to give in an address, and it's got to be within the Crewe Town Council boundary. If there's not, whether they're Wisterson, Williston, Shavington, Haslington, unfortunately, they will have to go back to their own parish councils and ask them for funding for those kits.
Could make that a condition of the funding.
Yes, we can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also the next.
Right, so that's the proposals on.
So the proposal is £2,000 for 32 kits, which has to be from the CW1M. I'm proposing that. Anybody second? Councillor Graham. All those in favour? That's unanimous. Thank you, members.
I'm not for it.
Sorry. Oh, right. Sorry.
I'm against.
Right. Councillor against. Councillor Rhodes against. Sorry, Councillor Rhodes, I didn't
No,
see
it's
you.
all right. I'm right at the end.
Right, yeah, I do.
And I've only got my reading glasses on. Right, item 7 then. To provide an update to members on projects funded through the grant scheme that have ended since the last committee meeting. So there's some quite detailed reports from each.
Issue Without Abuse, MyCWA. We funded them for a male peer support lounge. And it's just part of our process that we always go back and ask for evaluation, which is what they've given us.
Yeah, any
So it's
questions?
just for noting there. So noted.
That's all noted. So item 8, the disability report consideration.
So this report has come from our support officer. It's written by her and presented by her. I've just submitted it exactly as is. And to summarise what she's proposing is that we become a hidden disability. So we have sunflower lanyards. Literally, she's asking for £500 to do that. 375 expat. The Hidden Disability Scheme, which operates this, offers a basic package for 375 per year for basic membership. This offers training and resources and discount to purchase sunflower products. We could use our location on the sunflower map, sunflower stickers, a couple of lanyards which visitors could borrow, and a basic starter pack for that is £95. So just short of £500. We do have funding available in wellbeing, but whether or not we just look at this for the next financial year so that we're starting in line with our calendars is. So if you have a read through page 68, if anyone's struggling. Key objectives that when she worked at Cheshire Eats was to promote the Sunflower Lanyard scheme.
Everybody's wearing one. Any questions from any members? Any comments? Councillor White?
The sunflower lanyard thing, are they, what impact does it actually have in real life?
Sorry,
So, do you want to comment on that? Yeah.
Well, I can give an anecdotal. My family member needs to wear it when they're travelling. So we were in Manchester Airport, for instance, and just having that lanyard allowed us to skip the queues and get through customs through the airport as quickly as possible. To avoid
now, yeah.
to avoid
Share them out.
Yeah, I know that through the dementia group we promoted the forget-me-not ones as well, and this a little that says on the lanyard, I have memory problems and that. So and some of our members have found those very useful. So and I think during COVID the sunflower lanyard was very much high profile, but not having to wear masks, etc. So I think it is something that community. To me, this feels very similar to the white ribbon. We're white ribbon accredited. It's just another accreditation, something else to say that this council is diverse, inclusive.
I was going to be. It's what we should be standing for.
So the cost of is very similar to the cost of the white ribbon. So
it's £360 a year we pay for white ribbon, but then also we allocate funding to do all the events. But we would just bolt this on to any event that we delivered. So we've got a choice really. I've put it here as a decision, so we can either go for immediate registration, in which case it will come out of wellbeing for this year, put it in EDI, whatever, or we can defer and include it in next year's budget so that we start fresh in April. How does anyone feel about that?
Don't see any reason to wait.
Okay.
What about? I'm just thinking about the workload on staff.
It's not huge. Ingrid, the support officer, is disabled herself. She's part of this, and she has agreed to take it on and run it. It's minimal. It's not a huge amount of officer time. I will support her, of course, as well.
Would Peter let us do it?
He deferred it till after you'd gone. So is then that we support this and we fund it immediately in this financial year.
Yeah.
Seconded by Councillor Graham and Councillor Staines Ramsey. Did you want to say something first?
No.
You just seconded.
I was going to say something, but it doesn't matter.
Go ahead. We have
I was just wondering,
yet.
if we waited till the not start, would that have a detrimental effect?
Well, we've got the funding in
we've got
this
the
year.
funding in this year. I've put it in this year's. It means I'll just consider a registration fee every year for it now going forward. I'll allow for it. It will come out of this year's budget, and then in a year's time, it will come out of next year's budget. So it's fine.
So we could end up having to,
Okay. So that's the did we do the
right? So can all those in favour of us? That's unanimous.
So I'm going to create £500 line in the wellbeing budget to support the lanyard scheme. That's great.
So item 9 on the agenda is an update to members on the progress of the business delivery plan for 25-26.
Okay. So I've just really I've done a bit of a summary just to tell you what we've been up to since the last meeting. I won't go through it piecemeal because it will take forever, and obviously it's there in front of you. Remembrance Sunday service was the largest parade we've ever had. 14 schools, lots of community groups. The largest parade, it was fantastic. Lots and lots of people turned up, and people were commenting, this is the best one yet. Costs have gone up for that. We had to wire some money over from the Star of Light this year, and I've put in a bigger allocation for next year to cover it. Star of Light service, as you know, it came away from the cemetery because they've lost their teams of people that would have gone up from cherry pickers and would have electricians, etc. And we'd outgrown the event space. It's gone up to about 500 people, and it was just risky and not the way we deliver events. They were finding it all too much too. They want to do their own scheme in future. They're going to run really quite small, regular services of remembrance, I think, inside the chapel area. So they're going to do their own thing. This year we delivered it in Lyceum Square, and we distributed the physical stars out to the community. We also invited people to send their messages in, and we beamed them on the screen. I think we had 96 messages. We took a lot of flack because people were very upset. The public were very upset that we were moving it from the cemetery, but we didn't have a choice. We couldn't deliver it there any longer. The Lyceum Square makes perfect sense. It's got a stage. It's saved on costs. We were able to decrease the cost of the event and move that into remembrance. So really, it is about what we do next year. The tree's off the agenda for next year. They can't. But this year, I called them and said, everyone's really upset. What can we do? And they said, okay, we'll hang the stars, but we can't light the tree, and we'll leave them up over Christmas. But next year, it's not an option. So do we put, I was wondering about whether we might put a post box and paint it white and call it Letters to Loved Ones. They suggested they could mulch the letters. That would negate the need for the Foamex stars. We could get recycled cardboard. Does it even have to be a star? Could they not just post a letter?
Yeah.
And it's there all year round. So that's an option. There's a cost to that. They're about £1,000, but they would install it.
The big box.
Yeah, for a box that it's not a genuine Royal Mail one, but they're about £1,000-ish. I think it was £920, and then we'd have to paint it white, and we'd get it engraved with our logo and their logo and Letters to Loved Ones put on it. That would mean that people could post all year round. I think what we should be doing is the service went really well. It was the first year we did it. There was probably about 200 people, 90 odd messages on the screen. The stars cost us about £500 for 1,000, which is what was distributed. 1,100 stars were distributed actually, because we had some left over, and they all went. They mean a lot to people, but we can't hang them in the trees. People didn't want them in the town centre. So I need to come up with your help, an alternative. Pardon?
The box idea.
Well, what they said they would do is, if we had recyclable cardboard, they would mulch them and distribute after a period of time and put them all round in the flowers and stuff as well.
People know that. It's nice,
Yeah,
isn't it?
I think
It's nice
so.
to
Where would it be?
That would be really up to them. I mean, ideally it would go near that tree, but obviously I can't say where it's going to go. It's Cheshire. They would install it. They don't expect us to pay for the installation. We just buy the box, and they get their guys to
Can
put
I-
it.
Sorry, go next to the chapel.
Potentially, yeah.
I
But
don't
we-
think it will.
I don't know where. I don't know where it would go.
I
We'd
like
have
the
to-
idea of it, but as a person who used to open Royal Mail boxes, I'm just wondering what else will be in there.
That's it's on
Because
their
I can
grounds.
assure
though.
you that
Yeah,
there are
Yeah.
things that I've opened
yeah.
that you wouldn't want to touch them.
Yeah.
They have it in other cemeteries, and they like the idea of it. I'm just putting it as a suggestion.
Yes,
so,
Yeah, I personally don't like the idea, personally, because of the, I hate the mulching, and etc. But it's the fact that people like to go and physically see their star. I know the Tree of Light in Nantwich, their hearts there. We put one on there from lost members from the Thursday Club, and people went to actually find it, and there was every time I was passing there when the tree light, there was people who were sort
they
of
stand
looking
under
and
it.
finding their heart and their faith.
Yeah.
I think the fact that it's going to be actually mulched and there's nothing physical for people to.
Okay.
For me, I think we should try and locate. It could be that we've got plenty of parks with trees,
So we could have the service here and then hang them somewhere else. But we'd have to pay for the cherry picker and obviously the stars and then an electrician to light it. So, or we could potentially ask for some costings for us to do that at the tree in the cemetery, which seems to mean so much to people. But we have the service at Lyceum Square.
Yeah. As we've done this year.
Yeah.
It's just that all the cost falls on us to actually undertake to do that.
They have no funds, no budget. Happy to be part of the service. They came, they attended, they did a reading, but the tree's not an option for them to be funding it. They literally got step ladders and the team put them all on strings and hung them because we were trying to find. Everyone was so upset. They didn't want that either, but.
I just don't, and I'm with Dennis. You've got an open letterbox which in the cemetery which isn't secure, which people walking past all the time and stuff going into it. So I know that the funeral directors are also looking at the similar service that they do at Nantwich Church, which is to remember a memorial service for all their clients who've lost loved ones. And I think that's what they're also looking at doing.
Regular small ones.
In the cemetery that has been brought up because so there are moves to actually other memorials. But
so do we remove the star of it's a memorial service. People love the stars. They come here, they collect them, they write their messages on them. What do we do with them? If they're going to be outside, they have to be foamettes.
At Nantwich, you have to actually pay £5,
which I don't think we'd ever do.
But it's there, isn't it? If the cost is, if they want us to continue to keep that service, to have it in the way that it is, it costs us for the actual. Even if we just cover the cost of the phone, which might not be £5, it might be just £2, it's perhaps we need to look at options, and it come back to the committee.
Maybe
options.
Should I get some costings for what it might cost us to put the stars on the tree and light it?
Yeah,
with permission. Sorry, Councillor Rhodes.
Yes.
I don't like the idea of the Let's to Loved Ones because I think Dennis has got a valid point. We all know that the cemetery is not secure.
Yeah.
And we know that there's people that like fire, so I would say more than that.
Okay.
People do value the Star of Light, and I don't think we should charge residents for it.
No, I don't think so either. I strongly agree with that.
And it really does resonate with them, but I'm not certain about foam stars because I don't think they're very environmentally friendly.
That's the problem. But if they're going to be outside, of course they have to last a month.
But how long have we're talking about a relatively
they left them up for a month. They left them from when the service happened. They put them up the Monday after, and they took them down after Christmas, after the Epiphany thing.
So I think we should get some quotes for how much the cherry picker will be to put them up. Whether we like the tree or not is another issue. I don't think that's necessary. Because people who are visiting are going to visit in the day.
And the cemetery is locked at dusk, isn't it? So you can't go and see them anyway. So if you're going to go and look for your star,
we'll change the name. It can't be the Star of Light if we're not going to light.
And what we'll
call it whatever. Well, it was the Tree of Light, wasn't it? And then this year we called it the Star of Light to take the tree out. We call it whatever we want.
Stars are light anyway.
So star service.
I think we should get quotes for cherry picker, but I think bearing in mind that we're trying to make connections.
Yes.
That we should be talking to the funeral directors. We should be talking to the bid and saying, look,
sponsor
people really value this. Can you give us a bit towards sponsorship? I know it's more work for you, Jackie, and I apologise for that. But I just think people pay quite a lot of money for funerals. Go on, sorry, Ben.
I like that idea because I bet you the funeral directors would So what I really like, you know that the crosses were on for Poppy Day,
Mhm.
stuck in the ground,
Yeah.
very thin like balsa wood,
Mhm.
and they biodegradable, they just stay in the ground.
Yeah, they do. Yeah.
But I bet you that every funeral director would like to have their name on the back, and like on the service of
Yeah,
remembrance.
yeah. So sponsor the stars with your name on the
Yeah,
back.
but
Yeah.
it did. I mean, a field of stars, so they go in the ground. So there's no ladders, there's no lights. Just stick them in the ground. I'm sure there's, up by the memorial guys at the top of the thing there, and they stick in the ground,
Yeah.
and you just leave them because by spring they'll have rotted away anyway. You wouldn't. I don't think it'd be any labour to
Okay.
it. And then
So
maybe
biodegradable stars. I'll speak to the Creme
or
first.
crosses or something.
Yeah.
Could we not use Christchurch fertiliser?
Potentially, but you know,
Just thinking that it's
we can
it's
put
a
lights up, but where are
I
we going
think
to
the
put the
risk
stars?
assessments on
Yeah,
that one,
trying to
coming
get
back,
people to work on
from the
that.
diocese and coming back from Cheshire East as well. You've got two.
I think people want to see it in the Creme. It's where their loved ones are.
yeah.
I feel that, I'll speak to the Creme, and in time for next committee, I'll get a couple of quotes and some options.
But within the Creme, you've also got, within the cemetery, you've got big flower beds, raised flower beds and arches and things, haven't you? Well, you could put stuff in
I'm
as a
guessing
remembrance.
it's people who haven't had an actual burial. So if you had say a little cross or something, a little, even if it's just a little dead easy thin piece of wood about that size. Huh?
like a poppy cross.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. But I think they're a bit expensive, and you could just have like little wooden gravestones. So they can write on it themselves, stick them in the ground, and then in February just go over there and just dig them over, and then they'd be composted.
There's no reason why you can't have a star with a stake on it.
Yeah. But then that you have to pay, that'd be something that's specifically made unless we can see something. There's always
And we
things like
limit-
that. You
we
know, the
limit-
craft workshops,
Yeah.
they always have little wooden.
I'll look into it. I'll get some quotes for it. Sorry, Irene.
All said and done, are we sure whichever one we decide to go, whether we're going to have the crosses or something, what are the people themselves going to say? Because like you said, they kick up a lot of something. So it's easier for us now to say, oh, this is what we do. Are they going to be something that will be popular with the people who want to
The
start?
stars they love, they write out. But what we've had to do, so the library told me that people are coming in and say, can I have 10 stars? And the library's saying, well, no, you can't have 10 because we only have 1,000. 2 per family, because what they're doing is writing messages on each one to every single loved one. But then I feel that whilst I'm thinking, oh gosh, I've only got 1,000, I'm thinking, but okay, if that's what they do to remember their loved one, so do we restrict them? But I could get rid of 2,000 stars. We have to say, I'm sorry,
Which is
this run
why
out.
they're actually purchasing them.
Yeah.
Or making a contribution towards them, then they're more likely to limit the
Who
number
collects
they
that
want.
money? Who accounts for that money? We're now VAT registered. It's a bit of it's probably more hassle than it's worth, unless
it's under as a donation, then it is.
It's still someone got to collect it.
I think you're quite right to limit it to per family.
Yeah. So I'll get some quotes and I'll speak to the Creme in time for next committee, and then we can hopefully make a more informed decision. Is that okay?
Yeah.
I know. Did you want to speak?
Yes, I did.
Yeah.
If we're going to fund putting the start up with supplying the cherry picker and anything else that goes with it, well, what's the point? Why don't we put the lights up at the same time? Because the cost would be very little. Because you've already got the cherry picker, you've already put the stars up. So those people are putting the stars up, you might as well put the lights up.
I'll get a quote for everything, including the lights, with the lights,
You
without the
get a quote
lights.
for one.
Yeah.
Or for both.
Yeah. Okay. I'll do that in time for next committee, and we can look at the options. Is that okay?
We have lights permanently on trees, don't we? And you can put them, make them so they're secure and there every year, just to switch on for the month, or they're there all the time. So there's that option as well. That's the one in Nantwich. That tree has permanently got its lights on, but it only gets switched on for the period of their.
There's those 3 lights down Victoria. There's those 3 trees down Victoria Street.
Yeah.
That's
There's some on the market square, which are permanently
got
lit.
Christmas lights up.
No,
They won't on Victoria Street.
No, on the market square they're permanently
they're
lit.
permanently there all year.
But I'm sure you're having Christmas lights up.
Yeah.
So they'll be in the way, but on Victoria Street they won't.
So
I'll get
If
some.
you put light sensor on with them
Trees
lights,
are lit, don't they?
then they
Yeah.
will automatically come on.
Well, I wonder if we could get the solar style lights so that they come on and we're not costing.
Yeah,
Light
yeah.
sensor that automatically
Mm.
turns the
well,
power
my
to the
solar
lights.
lights are not working.
No.
Right.
Right, I'll get some
Okay.
options for us
Yeah.
all,
Yeah.
and then we'll look at it next time. So moving on, so Everybody Leisure delivered pop-up in the parks. This is year 3 of 3. So we're out of contract with those now. Just provided some evaluation, and we'll move on to whether we're going to do it again next year in a bit. You can see everything we funded. We now send out this community funding evaluation form. So you'll see that these are popping up everywhere, and it's all the same pattern and style, so that it makes it a little bit easier for everyone to lift the information. St Andrew's Church are going to submit to us a request for next year, and they have provided the evaluation. Unfortunately, it didn't come in time, so I can't share it with you. We're at Street Sports Project. I've requested the evaluation there. That was hugely successful compared to Everybody Leisure, and it's not against the two organisations, but the funding went much further when it was Street Sports than it did with Everybody Leisure. Although we are being asked, can we do the yoga in the park, which we could maybe get Wishing Well to deliver, but we'll look at that when we decide for next year. Supported Adults have submitted a proposal for next year, but we'll come into that. This is all about evaluation from Together We Grow, which was the group for the Wishing Well. And I've got evaluation for the friendship groups that are delivered through Wishing Well. They're hugely successful as well. 98 sessions delivered, 1,344 attendances, jobs secured, volunteers. We give them £2,000 a year, and they're just coming out of contract for that. So again, I'm going to be looking at whether we do it next year. This is a bit of an update on what happened at the King's Trust on page 84. We fund that through Cheshire Fire. They're in a 3-year contract, so no decision needed there. I did you a bit of an update on White Ribbon. We had the walk through town, which Ben took part in, didn't you, Ben, and Sally? And that's gaining strength. We've got more people joining the steering group for that. Male Mental Health Swansea, I see, gave us some more feedback. Her place did exactly the same. Bereavement counselling, they were great. They came along to the Star and Light and dealt with grieving people very well. People were quite distraught and upset, and of course they provide that support, so it was nice to have them there. Veteran support, I've asked the RBL to put together a list of things that they might need our help with for next year. Councillor Clark has provided evaluation for the afternoon club, because they're also in year 3 of 3, and as you can see on page 93 onwards, there's lots of evaluation and lots of things that they successfully delivered. Circus Star, they provided evaluation there, and if we move on, debt counselling support, Chance Changing Lives, year 1 of 1, that's been going well as well. I'm going out to see those in a couple of weeks. Crucial Crew, I mean, we've funded lots and lots of groups this year. We've done lots of good stuff. We just move on to the Male Mental Health Wilderness Tribe, year 3 of 3, that's coming to an end. I would suggest that we continue to support male mental health, but I'd like to go out for RFQ for that rather than just renew with Wilderness Tribe. I think there's other things out there that we need to be looking at, but I'll come to that when we get to the next agenda item. So community awards, they'll be delivered on the 24th of February to be held in the municipal buildings, and I've just done a list on page 107 of the awards. The closing date for that is the 29th of January. So if anyone's got any groups that they can think of, please do encourage them to apply. We're looking at them all on the 30th to make some decisions. Done a bit of a DFIB update, just showing you where things are and what we're doing with DFIBs. The clerk here is questioning why we don't have a DFIB on our wall here outside. The reason that we didn't have that is we had limited funding available, and we have got one at the Lifestyle Centre, so I didn't think it was right to put one here. I dotted them around. You'll see that in the next financial year, I've allocated £2,500 because they're all coming up for pads renewal and battery renewal. So we're going to have to be looking at that. Food in Crewe. So community fridges. Yesterday, I had an update from Becky Hurst, which it's only short, so I'll read it to you just so you're aware, because that was funded in the last financial year, and Becky's really struggled to get places for the fridges to be sited. So I'll just read it out. By 23rd of January, all 4 fridges will be in place at St Mary's Caritas Centre, Hope Church Central, Autism Inclusive and Barney's Community Hub. Looking to have all fridges fully launched by Easter 2026. Next step. Purchase chest freezer to extend length of time we can use donations following Hubbub guidelines. Recruit teams for each site, at least 3 to 4 people per site. Recruit driver/delivery team to work across sites. Register for food collection slots and promote the network via Crewe Food Network group to share donations. Train all site volunteers to food hygiene level 2. Register each fridge with Cheshire East and Hubbub Community Fridge Network. Create resource box for each venue containing scales to record foods donated and distributed. Folder with food and general risk assessment, recording sheets and useful information. Signage, all our logo will be going on each fridge, letting them know exactly what day fridges are available. And purchase call bags and ice packs for food distribution. Work with each venue and Crewe Town Council to develop a social media campaign in the run-up to the launch. Have a launch event at one of the venues, which of course the Mayor will be invited to attend. Of course, St Andrews, St Peter's have been working in collaboration with Churches Together, which is obviously Sally. I don't know if you've got anything to add, Sally, to that, have you?
Not really.
No. Yeah, okay. Any questions on that one?
Councillor White.
Yeah, I thought Hartford School had one. What was that? It's just
Not one of the fridges, no. So this is about the no. So this is all about the food waste, not
Yeah.
food.
Yeah.
So
They have a system where they do distribute food. A bit like, St Paul's and Beechwood dinners.
Hungerford.
Yeah, there's quite a few
Yeah.
schools that do it themselves.
Yeah.
So the idea is that people they'll have we join them up with all the food groups are talking to each other. There's a WhatsApp group now. So the idea is that if Changing Lives Together suddenly got 500 pizzas, which they do get, they'd be distributed and they'd all end up in these fridges. And it's all about preventing food waste, not necessarily food poverty.
So the Changing Lives Friends,
Yeah.
is that one of this group?
So yes, so they're part of they link in with the Food Network, and I speak to them regularly as well.
Yeah.
They've just put their prices up from £5 a bag of food to £7. It was like a special offer when they first started, but that's going really well because people can just go and buy 35 quid's worth of food for £7. So that they're looking for more volunteers so they can open more often. So they're a good addition to Crewe, that's for sure.
Yes, great.
Yeah. Did someone else? Jill?
Councillor Rhodes.
Yeah, I've got a question on page 101.
101.
Which
Just
is
go back and say.
Crucial Crewe,
Yeah,
Child Safety Media,
yeah,
and it says 10 days of it ran for 10 days.
yeah,
Then there's something about the venue at the Crewe Alps Stadium,
yeah.
on page 101. But it seems that none of the schools that attended that actually are in Crewe.
They were, weren't they? Didn't they?
Well, it says schools in attendance this morning: Scholar Green Primary School, Wood Coxwell Primary School, don't know where that was, and Alsager Highfields Community Primary School.
What page is that on, Jill? Sorry.
101.
Oh yeah, I said. I'm sure.
It used to be used by a lot of the Crewe schools, but I know as being a governor at Crewe School that they don't find it of a benefit.
Okay.
Well, I mean, I know
That was what I was going to
it's
raise in our
Yeah.
the business
Yeah.
plan
year
for
3
next.
of 3, so
Yeah.
No.
So we're
it's
not
come
up
to
for.
an end anyway. But
Yeah.
obviously, that's just one day
Yeah.
out of a 10-day period.
Yeah.
But all it says is lots of children in crew attended.
Okay, so I know St Thomas More went, but you know, yeah, I mean that is year 3 of 3. We're done, so
Yeah.
it's the final evaluation.
I know that didn't we stipulate that anything that we want to be children in crew
Yes,
school?
yeah. So I will, yeah, schools in attendance this morning. So that was just for that
That was that. It looks like that was that one.
that day. But I'll check the crew schools. I mean, they know that it's for crew schools, and I think it's just perhaps they picked the wrong day to send to me, and I've included it as a
Yeah.
okay.
Did you go what day?
I was, well,
You were at that one.
Yeah.
I'm listed there as that day, but I don't know what day that was.
We'll have a look. Yeah, okay. So yeah, where were we? Community awards, the wish of Fridges in Crew. We funded the Filipino community group. So that obviously is a pretty big festival. It's year 3 of that. We're coming up. They're asking if we can fund it again. The first year we funded it for £1,000. The second year we funded it for £1,500, and we asked them to increase their marketing and their branding, which our comms officer helped them with. And what I've done is I've just put a suggestion into next year's budget that we support them again. The amount to be finalised, but it's a really well attended festival. People come into Crewe, they use all the hotels. And it's attended by the people of Crewe, but also people are coming into Crewe. So, but I'm not asking you to decide on that tonight. I'm just flagging it with you. Obviously, disability awareness, I've put needs approval, which you've done. Stroke survivors group, done. St Paul's Centre. So I just wanted to report to members on this. So we funded St Paul's Centre. The usual £6,000 per annum, which was agreed at the start of this financial year, and we fund Chance Changing Lives similar. So they run with that money, they use it to support the food bank, and they also use it to support the Abacus project, which is their after school meals project with Beechwood, isn't it? Beechwood Primary, on a referral basis. So when we funded them, it was for something like 77 meals. And then regularly delivering in excess of 120. So they rang and said, we desperately need some more support. You know, we're having to turn people away. So Dawn, Liz, the clerk, I'll say that for the benefit of the tape, and I went out to meet with them, and we went through the figures. So we had funding in Sustaining Network, which is food bank support, that was available. So we used the clerks and chairs delegation powers, and we funded them an additional £3,000 so that they could, it was almost like emergency funding. They couldn't wait until this committee because they were turning people away, and they were hungry and cold. So they asked, could we please help them? So we did. So that was done under delegated authority. So I'm reporting that retrospectively. I couldn't wait for the formal permissions. So when we look at next year for funding, we need to be looking at, so I've done that on a 1-year contract, the top up. So I'm not going to be asking you to fund that immediately, but I think we need to be aware that it's going to pop up again. You know, do we support it? Don't we support it? How far do we go? But that's pretty much next meeting's decisions. I'm just flagging it with you. The Apple Pie Club, they run that. That goes really, really well. That's for, I've just included one of the reports so you can have a look. And they're funded by the Julia Rousing Trust and us for that. And it's for socially isolated, elderly people. It's an incredible thing, isn't it?
Talking to some of the people that go to it, it really is a lifeline for them.
It is. And I think there's a success story. Someone met and they've ended up getting married, and they met that group. It's like, oh, so lovely. And here's all the dates going forward for 2026. If anyone knows anyone that is socially isolated and elderly and wants to attend a dinner, it costs them about £5.50 per meal to put on, and they just ask. Oh, is it £5.75? Sorry. So they don't ask for £5.75. They ask for a donation. What can you afford, so that they don't. And if people can't pay, that's okay. They don't want to exclude anyone because they don't have any money. We also use the same authority for Cheshire Police, the bike lights. Ben, you'll like this one, page 115.
So I saw that.
Yeah, so we funded them before, and they get a discount and match funding from Halfords. And the police, if they see somebody on a bike with no lights, they'll caution them and tell them. And if they can't afford a light, then they've got light. They give them out because it promotes safety, of course. So we use the same delegated authority for that. So I am reporting that retrospectively.
Will they give you data on that?
Yes, we'll get data once they gave us data last time. It wasn't last year, it was the year before. It was through Lizzie Jolly.
So where's this apple pie
So-
company? Sorry.
Sorry, that's St Paul. Sorry, I've been go on.
I like it because they caution them informally.
Yes, they do.
And then the next time if they haven't got them on, they can do something more serious.
Then they
'cause
can do something about it.
It is a curse. I came here in my motor car.
Did you? Your motor car?
Yeah.
That's very official.
There are two kids, and because it's the thing, isn't it? The roadman.
Yeah,
So everything about them is illegal. The ones I'm worried about is the souped up electric bikes.
Yeah.
And they're an absolute menace.
Yeah, they are. So I think £500 there. It got match funded by Halfords. They sell them to them at cost, and it just gives the police the powers to keep people safe. So, and then I've just included a bit on the community strategy. Oh, sorry, ASB report from the Public Services Manager. At the time that I printed the agenda, there was nothing to report, but Lindsay has emailed me something. I can either read it out to you now or I can circulate it tomorrow. Would you like me to read it so it's on the tape, or would you like me just to circulate it to you tomorrow?
I'm not sure that we'll take it in verbally, but
Shall I just circulate tomorrow? Yeah, no problem. It's not a huge update, but yeah, it was too late for the agenda, so circulate to members. Okay. And then I'll just put a little bit about the survey for the new community strategy, which a lot of you are already aware of. I have emailed this out, but I just wanted it to be formal on the agenda. There's loads of stuff in this one, so you can flick through that at your own leisure. I don't need any decision. It really is just letting you know what they found when they went out. We should have a draft community strategy within about 3 weeks. So hopefully I will share that with you. I'll get you all in as well. We can talk that through. Is there anything else there? I don't think there is. I think so. That's the end of the update for this financial year. The next agenda item, Dawn, is to talk about next, but there's no decision required, just an update.
Okay, so we're happy to note item agenda.
So
10.
agenda item 9 is noted.
And agenda item 10.
Agenda item 10. This is where this is not for decision, it's just for your consideration. So the grants pot is currently set still at 30. Remembrance Sunday service, I'm suggesting 12. We had a 10k allocation this year and it came in about 150, 200 quid less than that, so costs are rising, so 12. I'm hoping to be able to get some money in from the bid for that. We've got them coming in tomorrow, I think, where we can go through what they can and what they can't fund. So this is just as at today. Star of Light service I've put down as 4k. I think potentially that we could shave a little bit off that, but it depends on what we decide to do. Sustaining Network, 15k is allocated for food bank support. We've already been through that. Community Development Commissioning is 10k. I'm waiting for Becky Hurst to come back to me with a formal request, which I'll have in time for the next meeting. We have 60k in wellbeing. Library support funding, as per the approved budget allocation, is 41,172. And then the Wish and Well supported adults have built a really, based on what we've been giving them for 3 years, £2,500 for 3 years. And what we've created there is sustainability with them. And they've got all sorts of plans that they would like to develop it further. So she's submitted a proposal, and I decided just to add it to this. I will keep it in the next one, but just so you can have a nose at it and see what you think. And you can just see, if you go onto page 136, 137, I've literally just listed what needs approval, what we need to consider, but no decision tonight. It's just really for you to have a look at. If there's anything on there that you think, absolutely not, don't want to fund that, please let me know. If there's anything that you think I've missed. What we will be doing is waiting for the community strategy to come in, because we would hope that that would inform our decisions before we start committing to anything. But by March, Dawn and I are going to go through everything, and I'll have everything in front of you for decisions. So please do let me know if there's anything you think should be funded that we're not funding, that we can factor it in for consideration.
Any comments from any members?
Just the antisocial stuff would be interesting to experience.
Yeah. Because Lindsay, I mean, there's no real budget for ASB, is there, in public services? Is there a budget for ASB in public services? Because this comes from, it sits here, but
No,
I don't think there is.
The police and Cheshire
Yeah.
is responsibility.
Yeah, that's true. Maybe
Yeah.
it's not.
So
We'd like
we
to-
take note of it and we factor it in, and we help the parks out when they experience it with cameras and stuff like that. But there's no actual budget, certainly not from this end.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay. And then on page 142, I just thought I'd slot in what the costs are and what the approved budget is, and the fact that our committee only increased by 2.19% this year.
Well done.
We do have some money left over, so to speak. We've probably got about £9,500 underspend across the budgets for this year. Obviously, we've just agreed to do the disability scheme. I would say, given that we've got this community strategy coming in, and hopefully it's going to identify areas, if there's no point in spending for the sake of it, perhaps we could create an EMR and roll that over into next year so that we could spend more. But of course, for next meetings, decisions.
And we've also got the next round of the community grants. We don't have what's going to come in on
exactly.
there. You know, we know we'll have a pot to actually. Councillor Rose.
On page 136, Community Development Commissioning, which is £10,000.
Yeah.
Which is support based on application funding from St Peter's Holiday Hunger and Lewis Clubs and Crew.
Yeah.
That per year.
So no, we have a £10,000 total budget. Last year we gave them 3,500, so we've got an underspend.
Oh, so that's just the whole budget.
That's the whole budget.
And those are the only people you've identified so far.
Yeah, so we've got 6,150 underspend for this year in that budget, which is what I'm saying we can roll over or use. Becky, I think she's probably going to come in at about 2,500, 3,000 for food and crew. She's also looking at running breakfast clubs for Lath and the homeless. But that maybe I've asked her to do that separately for us, because that's a different thing entirely.
No,
exactly.
it has.
Yeah,
I think there's some provision of breakfast already.
Yeah.
For homeless, isn't there?
I think there is, and she put that. I spoke to her this afternoon, and I just said, look, do it separately because it's a separate thing. Tell us what you need to do the holiday clubs, the food and crew, and I think it works out to about 220.
That as a gap in the service.
Yeah, it's like 225, 250 a head, but she's servicing loads. They do loads. You know, they have big bowls of fruit on the side so that when the kids come in, anyone can take fruit at any time. There's a cost attached to that, you know. So I've asked her to break it down and give it to us, but you'll see that at the next committee.
Yeah, I think we need to.
I
I
agree.
think that's an area we need to think about.
I think so too, because unless we're going to go out and actively seek areas to spend it, it's always underspent in that budget, and we tend to put it back in reserves. But
I think as it's happening now, we've got people coming in and saying, we want to do this project, can you fund us?
yeah,
But I think we need a more strategic approach that, particularly as we've got all that community information, this is what people say they want,
yeah,
who can we get to do it?
yeah.
Which is,
Okay.
when we've got the community strategy and that's how we
Yeah.
can, that's why not
I think
for
we need a
committing to any projects
Mm.
now.
Mm.
We wait and see what the community strategy is
Yeah.
telling us.
For sure. The next,
because we very much concentrated on a couple of churches and the Caritas Centre,
yeah,
and there's a whole area beyond that
yeah.
which isn't currently being looked at.
No, I think the food and crew project, I mean, it supports many and it's established and well known. And if that's going to be kind of 2,500, 3,000, that's kind of okay. But I think when we start going down the providing breakfast for the homeless, that takes us into a complete new area that needs further thought and discussion. So yeah, I see. But I've asked her to just submit a proposal.
If you look where your community, the fridges,
Yeah,
there's the vast where Martin and I houses from, Crewe East, nothing.
right. Yeah,
I mean, you've got St Peter's,
yeah,
but you know, once you get out beyond St Peter's,
yeah.
there's nothing.
What's there? Yeah.
Can I just say, Becky did try to get them sorted out. She
Believe it.
approached so many possible venues.
People didn't want them, did they?
I can believe that.
Yeah.
Because the people won't want the responsibility of dealing with it. Well,
Yeah, because they've got to staff it, and they've got to, and also it's people coming into the premises all the time. And who are you attracting? I know that was a concern, even though it's not aimed at food poverty. It's still free food, and anyone could wander in, and you know, I get it.
I can understand people's reluctance.
Yeah,
One thing that surprised me as a school government was how many children went to schools without breakfast.
yeah,
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 I couldn't believe it.
yeah. Well,
Yeah.
they,
which is, you know,
It's just
not to be political, but that's what
No.
we've done the breakfast clubs for across the country, because we identified that. Okay, if there's no other questions then, I'll move to item 11, which is to note the date of the next meeting, which is the 10th of March, which looks like it will be quite a heavy meeting.
yeah, there'll be a lot
Because
to
everything that
approve.
we've deferred to there and said that we're going to produce there. So thank you all for your time this evening.